Happy memories for England. That was the World Cup quarter-final just under 10 weeks ago. Since then, the Lionesses have drawn 3 each, with Belgium ranked 19th in the world, and Norway have hammered Northern Ireland 6-0. Tonight, the two meet again in Bergen, and we've got full commentary coming your way. Good afternoon. With me today, Rachel Brown-Finnis and Sue Smith. Rachel, let's start by taking a look back, not at that Norway game, but last week, England up against Belgium. Jodie Taylor says she thinks under Phil Neville they're playing the best football they've ever played. Are you seeing signs of that?
Well, I think last week was certainly not a product, it certainly wasn't convincing. Defensively, we were really poor, but I think it was a matter of a lack of concentration throughout the full match, which we saw elements of that during the World Cup. I think it's a long process, and he's got 2 years because we're not having to go through the qualifying process. So there are going to be errors here, but hopefully it's for the greater good at the end of it.
We are seeing the team news running along the bottom of the screen. Lucy Bronze is back in that midfield role. It's been a real bone of contention, a real discussion point. What are your thoughts on her playing in there and what Phil Neville is trying to do?
Well, there has been a lot of criticism, and I understand because she is the best right-back in the world. But what I've seen is first of all, that things don't happen straight away. It's going to take time for her to adapt to that position. And she has the attributes. So she's got the physicality, she's got the energy. She was involved in both of England's goals against Belgium. And one of them was the energy that she had to do that overlapping run, which just the defender slightly stepped one way, which then allowed Jodie Taylor in. There's not many centre midfielders that would do that. So she certainly has the attributes, but it's going to take time.
Well, she is the best right-back in the world and has been the talk of the town since winning the European Player of the Year award last week.
I haven't reflected on it. I'm still not thinking about it. You know, the trophy was here and gone in a matter of hours, and now straight back to playing for England.
I bet your phone's been off the hook since then, though. What's been the best message you've received?
I've had a lot of messages from girls that I've actually never played with. It was quite nice to get messages off those kind of people, but I think one of my teammates, Marizan, who I think probably deserves the award more than me, she actually texted me and was so happy that I'd won and said, this is the first time where I haven't won an award, but I feel like I've won it. And I was just like, oh, it kind of sums her up, but I was just like, wow, she's such a nice person, but that kind of made me feel happy that I'd won it.
Phil Neville said that you'll be playing in midfield again. There's always a lot of talk about
no, I know.
your position. You must have a preference on whether you're defending or being able to get forward more.
I'm in my comfort zone at full-back, but then people who know me know that I love a challenge. Midfield, I feel uncomfortable, but I'm enjoying feeling comfortable. I'm playing with a smile, and you know, I'm playing with Georgia Stanway and Kira Walsh, two of our youngest players with the least amount of caps. 21, 22-year-olds. Shouting at me where to go, and I kind of like it. It kind of brings out the best in them to be like, do you know what, Lucy, get back. I'm one of the, I'm vice captain, one of the senior players, and I've got these kids telling me what to do, but it kind of makes me feel like a kid again. But it's something that, it might not work. It might be terrible in midfield, and I just have to go back to full-back, but it's a challenge that I'm looking forward to.
Well, Jo Curry, with the questions there, so she speaks very honestly about the challenges of it. How different is it moving from a wide position into that central role?
It is different, and I love the fact that she says she loves a challenge, she wants to learn that position. But I think when you're playing at full-back, a lot of the plays in front of you, suddenly then you're a centre midfielder, and you've got to be aware and look for different angles. Players that are playing balls into you. You've got to be able. So it's like the whole 360. You've got to have that awareness and that vision. You've also got to move the ball a lot quicker. So it will take time to adapt, I think, to that position.
But we know she can score goals.
Yeah.
And in midfield, that gives her the opportunity to do that. She's kind of almost conquered right back, and Phil knows he can put her in whenever required. Yeah. He's got time now to develop Lucy Bronze into one of the best midfielders in the world.
Yeah. So people coming from everywhere in that central role. She has won that European Player of the Year award. She's now been nominated for the World Player of the Year award, up against two of the American World Cup winning stars. Who's going to win this one?
I'd be biased if I didn't say Megan Rapinoe. I think the whole World Cup was about Megan Rapinoe. You know, the colour of her hair, the penalties that she scored for on and off the pitch reasons. I think this World Cup was all about Megan Rapinoe.
Yeah, that celebration, I think, was the iconic image, wasn't it, of the
Well,
World
it is.
Cup?
It's not just her on the field, it's off the field as well, isn't it? It's those leadership qualities that she brings, and I would be the same. You'd have to go for Megan Rapinoe. I'd love Lucy Bronze to win it there.
Yeah, fantastic for her to even be nominated for that award. And Phil has got the nod as well. Great for him. But up some interesting comments from him this week. He was quoted as saying, "I've got bravery that no other coach has, so thank you, lucky stars. I'm here and I'm here to stay." He then went on to say, "I live and breathe it and I've never had a bad day." Well, here's his reaction to some of the criticisms that have come his way.
I'm disappointed because I gave an interview to one person. Obviously, others have picked up on it back home, and it's been taken totally out of context to say that I've never had a bad day. I've had many bad days in this job, but I think the context of what I said it is that I'm England manager, managing a group of players that are absolutely inspirational, and I'm absolutely proud of that. And that's where I don't get my bad days from. Even when I'm on my bad days, I'm proud that I'm managing England, and that was the context that it was written by the journalist that was over here, and it was taken out of context by people back home. And the disappointment thing is that the people back home are the ones that have been on the journey with me and with the team and know what I'm about and know that, you know, humility is one of our biggest values. So that's disappointing, and it's important that people know that we're on a journey now, and the people that are coming on the journey know that humility, respect is one of our biggest values, and I was disappointed with some of the things that have been written.
Well, you both spent a lot of time following England over that World Cup. Rachel, what was your reaction when you read the quotes? Did you instantly think, oh yeah, that's something that Phil Neville would say?
I think he's very assured in his position, in his ability to lead this team and to better this team. And I think we as readers or as consumers of these words feel uncomfortable with it. We're not used to sort of saying we are the best at this. I'm going to make you better. I'm 100% comfortable with what I'm doing, and I'm going to, you know, lead this team to greatness. We should be like that. We want to be more like Americans in our performance because they're winners, perennial winners. And that's what Phil Neville is trying to get his team more like. You're thinking like a winner, acting like a winner. I have no problems with what he said.
I agree, and I think this is how the USA do things. I think you look and you learn from the best in the world. They have a winning mentality. They come out and say things, and there's no problem with that. So I quite like it. I quite like that confidence and the fact that he's going to hopefully instill that onto his players.
But generally, he's a very humble guy, and humility, as he said, I would echo that, is very much what he's about.
Yeah, well, winning mentality is something that he will be desperate to get back into his players tonight after that 3-3 draw with Belgium. As you could see earlier on, they were in the tunnel. They're about to come out onto the pitch. What are you expecting tonight, Sue?
I think it's going to be a difficult game. You know, it was England's best performance in the World Cup, wasn't it, against Norway? So I think they're going to be coming out saying that wasn't our best performance. We're going to show what we can do. They'll be physical, they'll be strong, but I think England have got enough.
Yeah, they'll already want revenge from that game, that 3-0 thrashing at a critical time in the World Cup. They'll probably sniff that they're a little bit vulnerable as well, England, with the result against Belgium. I expect goals for England, but also against England.
Yeah, interesting to see how the defence shapes up tonight. He has brought Millie Bright back in. Centrally.
Yeah, and I think that was needed. I do feel that we were a little bit sloppy defensively. So going forward, great. I thought we really started on the front foot, got ourselves into a great position, 2-0 up. But then it was disappointing to concede those goals and those sloppy goals from crossing.
It was set pieces again. We saw that in the World Cup. There'll be a lot of things that he's looking to improve on starting tonight, but he's looking long term, I think. So I don't think there'll be any sort of major quick fixes, but that partnership key in the middle with Steph Houghton and Millie Bright, I think, is much more solid.
We know there are no friendly games in football. You don't get friendlies in football. But how much importance do you think is on this game that England get back to winning after that slight slip last week?
I think it'd be important for their mentality, for their confidence to get back onto it. It certainly will have knocked their pride last week to concede 3 goals to Belgium, a much lower ranked team than them. But I don't think in a long-term process it will have a huge kind of knock-on effect. Today, get back onto winning ways. It doesn't have to be a convincing win. As I said, this is 2 years and it's just a couple of days into that 2-year process.
Yeah, well, we're about to get underway and find out how England do get on in this second match since the World Cup. The teams are making their way out onto the pitch and talking you through tonight's action. Manchester United manager Casey Stoney and Robin Cowan, and we will hear from both of them once we've heard the anthems.
Good evening, everyone. 5 weeks to the day since England knocked Norway out of the World Cup at the quarter-final stage. They meet again. The stakes nowhere near as high, but revenge will be on the minds of the Norwegians. For England, they'll be determined to put in a much better display than the one they put in against Belgium in their last friendly on Thursday. The 21st meeting between these two sides. England have had the better of Norway recently. Unlike historically, when Norway were one of the real powerhouses of the women's game. World Cup winners, European Championship winners and Olympic champions as well. In the past, they are now beginning to rebuild after a disappointing European Championships in 2017 where they didn't make it out of the group. Generally, the World Cup was considered a success. The Norway team. And here is the England side. Two changes from the team that drew 3-3 with Belgium. Millie Bright comes in to partner Steph Houghton at the heart of the defence. Abby McManus drops out. Tony Duggan starts for the first time since facing Norway in the quarter-finals. She replaces Beth Mead, and as we've been hearing, Lucy Bronze continues in midfield. The referee today, Lena Lehtovaara of Finland, and the two captains, Steph Houghton on the right. And a emotional day it's set to be for Ingrid Hjelmset, the captain of Norway, who will be making her 138th and final international appearance since making her debut all the way back in 2003. 3 changes from the side that smashed Northern Ireland in their opening European Championship qualifying game. Frida Mornham comes into the midfield. New Reading signing Amelie Akeland, who scored her first goals in a Norwegian shirt against Northern Ireland last time out, also comes in. And the new Chelsea forward, Gura Reiten, moves alongside Caroline Graham-Hansen. As we await kick-off at a pretty packed Brands Stadium, expecting around 9,000 in there to watch this friendly between Norway and England. It's time to introduce our co-commentator, former England international, Manchester United manager Casey Stoney. Casey, great to have you with us.
It's good to be here.
What are we expecting? We need a response, don't we, really, from England today?
Yeah, definitely, and I think something they'll be trying to isolate and improve, I would think, is their defensive performance. You know, I thought we were a little bit weak at the back on Thursday. Some individual errors, and also in terms of positioning, start positioning, and actually as a back four, being more compact and more hard to beat is definitely an area to improve.
Well, Millie Bright comes in to the back four for Abby McManus alongside Steph Horton. And that man, Phil Neville, has been in the news this week. We'll discuss that later for some of the wrong reasons. And England get us underway and already showing their intent from the kickoff moving forward. Rachel Daly remains at right back with Lucy Bronze continuing in midfield. That has caused a bit of a debate among women's football fans. But really, when you are trying these new things out, this is the time to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose the only question mark for me is how many times does Rachel Daly play there week in, week out for her club?
Well, not many. Rachel Daly is generally a forward for her club in America, Houston Dash. Has already scored 5 goals in 10 appearances for them. England trying to pin Norway back here. A very comfortable win in the quarter-finals for England. Norway very disappointed with their performance, and having spoken to some of our Norwegian friends, the commentator said that they are out for revenge, even though obviously this game doesn't mean quite as much. They want to show what they're made of.
Absolutely, they want to right some wrongs from that World Cup and put in a good performance tonight.
There's Georgia Stanway keeping her place. 20 years old, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of her in an England shirt. Just a couple of starts during the World Cup. England starting with good possession here with Kira Walsh. Here's Steph Horton winning her 114th cap today. Paris screams for a handball and gets it. Free kick to England. So yes, he's been moved to clarify some of his comments, Phil Neville, after he was asked a question about his tactics in the build-up to this game. He said he was misquoted. I think maybe it's a bit more complex, isn't it, Casey?
Yeah, I think, listen, that isn't what I know of Phil. That isn't Phil. You know, he isn't arrogant. He isn't a person that would say things like that. Maybe it's out of context and not taken in the right context. And I also don't think there's anything wrong with believing in your own ability. I really don't. I think we have a British mentality where we have to be humble and negative and sometimes reserved, and there's nothing wrong with saying you're good sometimes.
Lucy Bronze has scored against Norway in the last 2 World Cups, although she said she may not get as much chance to have a strike against them in her new midfield role, rather than surging down the right-hand side.
You'd like to think she'd have more of a chance if she gets beyond the ball, you know, and gets in attacking midfield areas and, you know, supports the attack, that she'll be closer to the goal.
There is Bronze, gets there ahead of Rayton. And slip it through to Debbie Stokes, who's won it back. That's good work by Tony Duggan. And put out of play by Evold, who wanted a foul, felt she was pushed over. It's going to be an England throw. Here's Kira Walsh of Manchester City. Oh, that's a lovely ball, a bit too close to the goalkeeper. Good idea, trying to find Paris.
think England have started on the front foot in terms of pressing very aggressively. You know, as soon as Norway are playing out, they want to press, they want to win it back higher up the pitch, and then obviously when England are in possession, they're turning it over. They're counter-pressing really well at the moment.
Paris goes for the early cross in towards Taylor. Two of the goal scorers against Belgium. A really topsy-turvy game. That was almost a really good through ball, too much weight on it towards Rayton.
Again, a better ball through there. England were in trouble. They were defensively outnumbered. Fullbacks had both got forward. One centre-half stepped out and left themselves very exposed. A better ball, they could have been open.
Here is Duggan. Going to find Taylor. Now Walsh already seeing along the ball in that deep-lying midfield role. A real favourite of Phil Neville since he was appointed manager back in January 2018. Played a lot of minutes under Neville. Torres Dottir. Chelsea duo at the back, Torres Dottir and Maren Bielda. The record, well, the highest caps holder on the pitch today.
It wouldn't hurt for Norway, especially when they got too higher up the pitch, to suck the press in and play beyond it a couple of times and give England something else to think about.
It's a loose pass from Torres Dottir. Walsh, Stanway. The layoff by Duggan. Didn't really connect with it as she'd like. Good challenge by Rachel Daly. Now here's Paris. Taylor's in the middle. I think she was looking for that, Paris. Flicked it up. I think it was more onto the face.
He did exactly that in the previous game as well, and players will do that now with this handball rule. You know, they're going to try and take any advantage they can, but it's not actually something I like to see, to be honest. I think, you know, I'd be disappointed if one of my players did that in my team, trying to get a handball from that.
Stokes gets the bounce of the ball her way.
Really interesting in the build. England are getting their fullbacks coming infield and their wide players dropping deep, so they've got support inside the channels to get on the ball.
Stokes, tries to slip it forward. That's a good ball. And good goalkeeping from Yumset, just in front of Jodie Taylor. It's a really good chance for England. Gets her foot in. Bold spreads it out to the far side. Chance here for Norway to get the cross in. Swept up by Duggan. Savic will chase this one. Gets there ahead of Stokes. Oh, that's good play. Savic, can she find the pass? There was a better one on, I think. Could have pulled it back. England under pressure here. Good cross in and a miscue.
I think that's a definite point of advantage for Norway if they can get the ball wide. We know that England have struggled from crossing situations like they have here. You know, a late run from midfield and she gets the first contact. You know, if she gets that on target, it causes England more of a problem.
That's the left back, Christine Minder, had the chance there. And it's been pointed out on a number of occasions, and it was evidence in the Belgium game, how vulnerable England are from set pieces and crosses.
Yeah, and I think we saw it again in the World Cup as we think about the two goals that came in the semi-final. You know, first, we don't affect the cross. and then we don't deal with runners into the box, you know. So, and it's exactly the same on set pieces, and it's something I'm sure Phil will look to improve as they move forward.
Minder touched it out. It's a converted winger, Christine Minder, so probably not a huge surprise that she was up the field there for that chance. Here's Paris. Chance for bronze. She likes to score against Norway, we know that. Laid back to Stanway. Not too many touches, that's good play from Jodie Taylor to win it back. Horton fires it into Paris, and Stanway, oh! What a tremendous goal! Georgia Stanway can barely believe it herself.
What an unbelievable finish. Great ball between the lines from Steph Houghton, great setup, and you can't hit them better than that. You can't get anywhere near them when they're in the stanchion like that. That's unbelievable from Georgia Stanway, and that is what she's got in her locker.
She's hit them like that for Manchester City on a number of occasions. That was perfectly struck by Georgia Stanway, only her second goal in an England senior shirt, and it's a special one.
I think she's surprised herself, to be honest, from her reaction, but that's incredible. And you know, we've seen her score goals like that from distance, but to hit it first time like that, great technique.
Excellent start for England and young Georgia Stanway. When you have a player who has that in her locker, that is not a fluke, is it, from Georgia Stanway? That is a huge weapon.
Absolutely, it's not the first time we've seen it, and it won't be the last, you know. And the problem is, because she's took it first time, they haven't even been able to get out to her quick enough to block the shot.
England ahead, as they were against Belgium, but can they hold on this time? Took a 2-goal lead against the Belgians, eventually ended up being 3-2 down, and then a Nikita Paris penalty got them on level terms eventually. Norway will not want to be on the end of another defeat against England here. Here is Graham Hansen, who can really make things happen on her own. Just signed for Barcelona from Wolfsburg over the summer. Minder. Hear Phil Neville's instructions.
He clearly wants them to get higher up the pitch and press.
No one closing down that ball. Here is Karina Savic. Slides it towards Caroline Graham Hansen, and Steph Houghton does just enough. I thought she'd lost it for a minute there. It's given away here to Mo Vold. Bright sends it behind for a corner.
I'm not convinced there was an awful lot of communication from the goalkeeper to Steph then, because she's obviously shielding it, waiting for Carly to come out. Carly doesn't come. If in doubt, clear the ball, you know, and have a discussion with it about it afterwards.
First corner of the game. It's going to be taken by Will Rayton of Chelsea. It's nodded on by Mornham, near post.
Again, set piece, the opposition get the first contact. For me, still need to be better at defending set pieces. Got to be more aggressive and making sure they're winning first contacts.
Loses out there in a dangerous position. Here's Graham Hansen. Perfect pass to Savic. Well, Rayton was screaming for it. England left exposed there.
Again, another 3v2, because they're pushing the fullbacks up so high. If you turn it over in those areas, you're going to get countered very, very quickly. And I think she's got to hit the target, or she's got to square it. You know, that's a great position for Norway to be in, to have a goal scoring opportunity.
playing the risky ball. Right. Here's her lines.
You can hear Phil Neville constantly saying to squeeze the back line out, and the reason he's doing that is because if you get your back line higher, your midfield higher, it gives your front players the opportunity to press and go and win it back higher up.
Linda Wolfsburg, away by Graham Hansen. Bolton nearly had a pocket picked. Here is Amelie Akelan. Tried to cut back inside, and it was well read by Daly.
It's in these periods of the game now when England lose a little bit of momentum and it gets a bit scrappy. They need someone to put their foot on the ball and start dictating the play. You know, start moving the ball with a little bit of quality and take the sting out of Norway's game for 5 minutes.
Ingrid Hjelmstedt, 39 years old, her final game in a Norway shirt. She will continue to play for Stabæk. Currently bottom of the Norwegian league. England leads here after a quarter of an hour, an absolute screamer from Georgia Stanway. Something we have come to expect from her. Good persistence by Savic. Here's Mornham. Into her back with Kira Walsh. It was caught slightly late there. Referee lets play continue. It wasn't a great touch.
Seems like every time there's a pass that goes into a Norway player when they've got their back to the goal, you know, it's a trigger for England to go and press and get around the ball and try and win the ball back.
Walsh gives it away under pressure. Again, really good play by Karina Savic. Good strength away from Stokes. There's the final ball there. Stokes gets a foot in. That's wide. Kira Rayton maybe claiming for a corner, perhaps.
Looked like it took a deflection to me. I think Savic's been really impressive in this first 17 minutes. She's been the most creative, most dangerous player for Norway, giving Demi Stokes lots of problems in 1v1s at the moment.
She's just made the step up to a full-time league in PSG over the summer. Karina Savic. Oh, it's a loose pass. Picked up by Nikita Paris. There goes Lucy Bronze making the run. Square ball is cut out by Torres Dottir. Daly. Rayton. Again, Savic. Managing to get past a few England players when she was odds off to do that in that situation. Here's Mornham. Savic. Yeah, since the goal, really, Norway have managed to seize back control of this game. And England want to counter here. Good movement from Taylor, but out of play.
Too many turnovers for me for both teams. No one's really controlling the tempo, controlling the ball. Obviously, what Norway are doing is sitting in, staying compact, almost in a 4-5-1 at times, and England are finding it hard to break down. Just need to be patient, and when they get Norway in one area, they need to switch the play and get it out the other side, move them, open up the gap so they can play through or play round.
Dottir. Deflection takes it through. Bronze. Oh. Dottir is down. Play has stopped. She had a really tough time last season, Maria Dottir, with concussion. Oh, that's a terrible challenge. Stanway.
Clashed heads there, haven't they? It's not a pretty one. I'm sure she'll get back up. She'll have a big bump, but I'm sure she'll play on. Centre-backs are made of stronger stuff than that.
A robust coming together, initiated by Georgia Stanway. See, she's fired up, pumped up after her goal to open the scoring here. And a good chance for the coaches, Martin Sjögren and Phil Neville, to get their instructions across.
I think Phil Neville will be the happier coach, obviously, at the moment, looking at the 1-0 scoreline. It's a key now to stay in front, try and reduce the amount of chances Norway have, stay compact, stop turning the ball over in midfield areas where you're getting 3v2s against your centre-backs, and get to half-time, and then see what changes you might make, either tactically or personnel-wise, to influence the game in the second half.
You're absolutely right, Casey. When she hit that, I think most of them were expecting her to take a touch, weren't they? She just went for it first time.
It's an unbelievable finish, and that is what she's capable of, and that's why she's got such a bright future, because, players in that area would normally take a touch. She's always thinking about the goal. How can I get a shot off? How can I score? And it's a really, really positive mindset to have in those attacking midfield areas.
She's got a great record with Manchester City as well. She scored 11 in 13 league starts last season. So at times she was playing as a sort of number 9. But she was taking those chances. Bronze. Duggan wants it back. Here is Tony Duggan. Walsh. Demi Stokes had made the move inside, and it was read by Ingrid Morivold. Heavy touch by Savic. Really Bright, in a tussle, draws the foul.
I suppose that's the only downside when you play a right footer on the left, with Tony being in there. She wants to cut in all the time. And if Demi goes on the inside rather than the outside, we haven't got an outlet to go round them on the left, and you can almost channel them in and win the ball back in there.
Approaching the midway point of the first half. A competitive game so far. And that's what England will want, because they won't have to qualify for European Championships in a couple of years' time. It does give them the chance to organise friendlies against tough opposition, as opposed to going through the procession, really, of qualifying with respects to the group that they possibly would have been placed in.
And the good thing is you handpick your opposition now, and you make sure you play top 10 in the world, or the teams you could potentially come up against, A, for the Olympics, and then obviously B, for 2021.
It's the big one at Wembley in November, up against Germany. Didn't go to plan last time. 3-0 defeat. Hopefully England can give the Germans a bit more of a game in the National Stadium this time. It should be a great game. Big crowd expected. And more importantly, good test.
Fantastic test. You know, and Germany will always come and compete. You get a great crowd, it's a great experience, and hopefully we can go toe to toe.
There's Akeland trying to prod that through. Make it nice and compact. Lost it here though. Once again, Savic the outlet. Daly under pressure. Mornham. Akeland. It's a bit of a fortunate bounce. And again, making a meal of getting this ball away. Here's Minder. Graham Hansen. Looking for an option out wide.
Just sometimes, because we obviously, you know, we want to play out from the back, and there's different ways to play out from the back. It doesn't mean you have to play short all the time and play yourselves into trouble. You know, you might play onto your forward, you might play into wide areas, but playing into fullbacks that are tucked in, that are straight under pressure with no support underneath the ball, and it's causing a problem for us.
White's header straight to Graham Hansen. That's a good challenge. Norway in here. Oh, a swing and a miss. Amelie Akeland. And now England can break. Here's Paris. Back to Lucy Bronze. Paris once again. Behind Jodie Taylor. Surely Norway's best opportunity so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the disappointing thing is, you know, one of your most creative players, Graham Hansen, is playing up top. So unless you get the ball to us, you can't influence the game. And at the moment, they're not playing the ball forward enough, quick enough to get it into her feet.
Daly. For a reset for Norway. She's lost it here. Paris into Stanway. Goes for goal once again. Duggan nearly got a touch there.
Again, anywhere around the box. She's not thinking about crossing this. She's thinking about how can I get a shot on the goal. You know, left foot, right foot. You know, very instinctive around the area in terms of she wants to score goals.
England winning it in a good position, good pressure. Key to Paris, now with Lyon. It's cut out by Torres Dottir. Here is Kira Walsh. Lovely ball. And a good take by Paris. For a second chance here. It's good movement by Lucy Bronze. Walsh, again trying to find Paris.
I think if Lucy's going to play in that attacking midfield role, especially on the right, and she wants to roll in field, it might be a little bit of work on her left foot. She's creating loads of opportunities where she can roll in, but she doesn't want to use her left foot to get the shot away.
Well, an excellent crowd in the Grand Stadium. I'm expecting around 9,000. It's friendly. It's the first game that the Norwegian women's team have played since 2014. And it was a 6-0 win against Greece. Happy memories for them. Martin Sjögren. Job was under pressure after that Euro 2017 campaign in which they didn't get a single point, didn't get out of their group. They stuck with him. And he's had to deal with the whole controversy around Ada Hegerberg as well. Caroline Graham-Hansen strayed offside. The team had to deal with that as well, Casey, didn't they? Constantly being asked about her absence.
Yeah, and absolutely, you know, and one player never makes a team. So, you know, I actually thought, you know, up until they played England, I was really impressed with them, you know, at this year's World Cup. And obviously, they'll be disappointed with the way they acquitted themselves against England. But, you know, it just shows you sometimes, you know, if you rely on one person and you highlight one person, you don't get the best out of everyone else. You know, and I thought they got a lot more out of the rest of the players in this World Cup.
And they probably would have played completely differently, wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. She's a focal point for them, isn't she? But, you know, she's made the decision she's made, and now the team have to move forward without her.
Tony Duggan's on a bit of a scoring drought for England. Last one was over a year ago in that qualifier against Wales, which sent England to the World Cup.
Yeah, she'll be desperate to get a goal. You know, obviously she plays in the 9, she plays off the left, she can play off the right as well, but you know, she'll want to get herself on the score sheet. It builds confidence for her moving forward.
Daly. Harris once again, the option down the right-hand side. Bronze. Stanway. It's too much on that for Paris. So Bronze loses it. She may have been caught as well. Slow to get up. And there's number 8. Here's Graham-Hansen, so good at carrying the ball. That's good covering from Daly. Reset. There's a football in Gothenburg in Sweden, currently 2nd in the league. It's a late challenge by Rachel Daly on Akerland.
It's a bit of an unnecessary one, really. She's right on the touchline. Where's she going? How is she hurting you? Stand her up, use the touchline as a defender and force her off the pitch. You don't need to go to ground there, you know. In a competitive fixture, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a yellow card. You're on a yellow, you know, within 32 minutes.
I think perhaps it wasn't a friendly, that definitely would have been a yellow card. Although, as we were discussing off there, Casey Stoney, this is women's football, where the threshold just seems to be slightly higher.
Yeah, you physically have to abuse someone to get a yellow card in women's football.
That reminds me the new WSL season starts this weekend. A couple of very big games to start off with. Oh, just wide. Carly Telford rooted to the spot there. She was very confident that was going wide from Rayton.
I'm not convinced she knew where that was going, to be honest. Because it was bending back in, wasn't it? The centre halves have got to defend the frame of the goal, and someone's got to get out and affect that shot a lot quicker.
It's not a great clearance from Yumset. Straight to Stanway, the goal scorer. Paris. Back to Stanway. She thought about it. Daly. Now Lucy Bronze. They're moving it around nicely here. Norway sitting very deep. Daly onto Paris. I don't think she intended to, but she draws the foul from Akelan.
Pleased to see England get a bit of width in their play there. If a team's sitting in a block, nice and compact, you've got to get some width on the pitch so you can open up the gaps to either go round them or play through them. You know, if you stay compact, all you're doing is keeping their distances small, and you're kind of doing them a favour when you've got the ball.
Opportunity here from the set piece. And sending it to centre halves up for the free kick. Stanway's going to leave it here for Tony Duggan. Daly. Walsh helps it on. Clearance straight to Stanway. Millie Bright. Picked up by Taylor. Nearly a shooting opportunity for England's number 9.
That all comes from a really poor clearance from Norway, and that's been a little bit of a tale of both boxes, to be honest. Neither team seem to be able to clear their lines, and it always gives the opposition a second wave of attack.
Again, that's a bit of an aimless pass back without looking. Rayton onto it. If her touch was better, England would have been in trouble once again. It's just been the story of these first one and nearly a half games, isn't it, for England, really? Just a bit sloppy. That may be a World Cup hangover, perhaps.
Yeah, I think there's an element of that. I think there's an element to the fact that no one's even played a game yet this season. You know, we're still effectively at the start of the season. People are still finding their feet a little bit in terms of intensity and quality. But you should never play blind, you know, and that was a blind pass. You know, you should never play into an area you're not sure what's going on, especially when you're playing back to your centre-back.
That's a very good point, well made, because it's just really Jodie Taylor and Rachel Daly who play in the US that have had meaningful minutes at club level so far. It's just been pre-season for the majority of this team. It's a poor pass by Walsh this time. England get away with it. Stokes' clearance cut out by Savic.
I think it's a little bit of a tale of, we'll give it to you, then you give it back to us, and then we'll give it to you. Just reset through your goalkeeper, build, have a little bit more patience, know that you can't go forward every single time. You've got to build to get numbers up the pitch, and at the moment, both teams lacking in a little bit of quality in terms of in possession.
Chance here for Stanway. Lets it through to Jodie Taylor. Didn't quite stretch enough. Again, the goalkeeper out well and out quickly. Graham Hansen. Advantage played by Risa.
Just highlighting Jodie Taylor's movement there again. She runs in between, she runs off the shoulder. And she's always a threat in and around the box because she creates chances for herself with her movement.
Well, Chelsea fans will be very encouraged by Gura Rayton's display. Very energetic. And not afraid to take a shot as well from distance. That's something that they were lacking, I think, last season. They began the campaign bizarrely with 3 consecutive 0-0 draws. Strange thing to say when they got the likes of Fran Kirby and Ramona Bachmann in their ranks.
Especially from the previous season where they were, you know, scoring goals for fun. To start the campaign like that, they would have been disappointed because they've got some really creative players in their team.
She looks a good addition, although, you know, coming from a part-time side. She was absolutely prolific for LSK in Norway. Scored 12 and 10 in the first half of the season before moving to Chelsea as well. Here's Duggan. Looks like they've switched sides here in Paris. Savic.
It's been a really sloppy 5 or 6 minutes from England in terms of the quality and detail of their distribution. Even that one from Millie Bright there into Nikita, she wants it into her feet. She doesn't want it out by her throat. Something she can deal with and get hold of, and then either get turned or play to the players underneath her so we can build the attack and get out the pitch a little bit more.
Horton's header away. Here's Duggan. Bronze making the overlap. Here's Lucy Bronze. Stanway. Daly trying to get round Minder. Stood her ground well.
Just used her body really well there, just to check a run. It's not a foul, you know, it's really good defending.
Less than 5 minutes remaining of the first half in Bergen.
It's interesting, if you look at the picture, there's 3 Norway players high up the pitch and almost got a 3v3, yet they're playing in tight areas and they're not getting it into their most creative players higher up the pitch.
They've certainly had their moments, mainly down to England giving them those moments.
Yeah, every positive attack has come from an England turnover, unfortunately, whether it be in midfield or full-backs. So if England can tidy up on that, I think they'll reduce the chances that Norway create.
Bronze outnumbered. Here is Akeland. Maramiolde. Vold towards Savic. The referee doesn't see anything wrong with that. Here's Graham Hansen. It was Rayton who couldn't quite take it under her spell. The play will stop for an injury here. Yeah, Lucy Bronze, that looked like a bit of an uncomfortable landing.
Yeah, they're uncomfortable then, because you hit the ground at such a force, it almost gives you a dead bum, so to speak. So she'll be a bit uncomfortable for a few minutes, but knowing Lucy, she'll dust herself off, she'll get back up and she'll carry on.
That's exactly what she's done. She's not particularly happy, but take more than that. Oh, there's the smile. Walsh under serious pressure there. No wonder she lost it. It's a mistake. Here is Akeland. Frida Mornham. Mornham caught. Free kick to Norway.
The only issue down Norway's left is they haven't got a left footer. The left back's playing off a right foot and the left-sided midfielder's playing off a right foot. So they never want to go down the outside, and sometimes that's where the space is.
Here is Minder. They just look a touch sharper, don't they, these Norway players? They did have a competitive game, although in terms of scoreline, not that competitive against Northern Ireland, 6-0 winners.
I think also they run off a different season, so if there's a few of their players playing in the Norwegian league, they will be in the second half of their season now, so they'll be playing competitive games week in, week out, so they should be a little bit more match sharp.
Here is Savic, trying to get the better of Stokes. Stokes stood her ground well. Duggan's lost it. For a reset, Graham Hansen. For a Reese's cross. And a great touch by Frida Mornan. Perhaps one last chance for England. Jodie Taylor. She's got Nikita Paris making her way upfield. Stanway. Norway back in their numbers now. Walsh into Paris. Stanway. There was a cross, not another attempt at goal.
No, definitely a cross.
Great skill, Karina Savic. Graham Hansen. Two in the middle for Norway. Oh, nearly caught Telford out. She did well, the goalkeeper. Danger still not cleared for England. Savic, one too many touches. Here comes Nikita Paris. Stanway. Too much on that for Lucy Bronze. It's going to be seen out by Mielda. Again, I think that was an attempted cross, but
I was going to say, I thought it was a bit wasted, to be honest, because the player had pulled right off the back shoulder, and if it was crossed in, I thought she could have had a really good opportunity. So, you know, it's a shame that she's. I'm not sure. A player of that talent, I'm thinking maybe she's gone for it, which, you know, I'm not going to criticise, because if it goes in, you know, it's a fantastic finish, but they did have numbers in the box.
Savic. Doing some defending in stoppage time here. Here's Graham Hansen. He's surrounded by white shirts. Good spell at the end of the half, this for Norway. Away by Bright. That's good play by Jodie Taylor. Receives the ball back from Paris. Just crowded out Jodie Taylor. Still making those incisive runs.
Jodie Taylor will stretch you as a back line all 90 minutes. She'll run off your shoulder, she'll get in behind. You know, the movement's that good, she's very rarely offside. So she'll always push you back and get your team up the pitch, which is great from an England perspective.
There it is, the end of the first half. England lead Casey Stoney, but still a touch of sloppiness still there.
Yeah, I don't think it's been convincing in terms of when they've had the ball. I think there's too many turnovers, too many unforced errors, you know, which are causing a few problems. And recognising when Norway are pressing, when to play beyond that pressure and out of that pressure and move the ball so that, you know, they can open up gaps and play quickly.
Half-time then, Stanway's stunner has put England into the lead. It's Norway 0, England 1.
Robin, thank you very much. It is England that lead here, but you two have been a little frustrated at times watching that, Rachel.
Well, I mean, how to describe it? It's a lack of precision, a lack of real attention to detail with the game plan, and that is in possession. Pure and simple, we're causing our own problems when we're in possession by giving the ball to Norway. And it's only because of Norway's kind of incompetence, really, that they've not caused us particularly any problems.
I think going forward, they've shown moments of real quality, intelligent passes, created opportunities, but just sloppy defensively, giving the ball away far too easily.
Yeah, I think we've used that word a few times in the first half watching that, but you talk about a moment of brilliance. Oh. That strike from Georgia Stanley, fantastic.
Unbelievable. And we see her do this for Manchester City on a regular basis. The girls see her do this in training, but I was really impressed with Steph Horton's initial pass through. If you watch this, she looks forward. She probably takes out 3 or 4 Norway players. This touch from Nikita Paris is brilliant to set Georgia Stanway up because she can hit it first time. But what a strike that is. It's absolutely perfect. Goalkeeper has absolutely no chance, and that is a real moment of magic.
Those 3 combined as well for Manchester City last season. It was the touch, the pass, the touch, the finish. I mean, that was just a moment of, like Sue says, brilliant. It
was stunning. It was exactly how we want to watch football, and that's why we don't worry about England in attack, because we've got players like Georgia Stanway, Jodie Taylor, Lucy Bronze, Nikita Paris. But Georgia has really flourished as a player, and she moved down from Barrow at 16 to become a fully professional player at Manchester City. She just takes on everything and anything from players around, the world-class players around, and we're seeing it now on the pitch.
Yeah, undoubtedly the high point in that first half. There were a couple of low points, hasn't led to a goal against them, but sloppiness.
Yeah, we've used that word, as you said, numerous times, and there's not too many other words to describe it. It's kind of lacklustre, kind of half-hearted defending, not real pressure on a ball, chances to take out players, not let the ball and the player get past you. It's not a matter of not having numbers around it. Here, Lucy Bronze gives the ball away, maybe overplays, certainly turns infield, which can be super dangerous. And there, Millie Bright gets drawn out, and players in the box, Norwegian players with their arms up, unmarked. We've seen this before in set pieces, in open play, and it's a little bit worrying. We said it in the World Cup quite a lot, didn't we, Sue?
Yeah.
That against better teams we would get punished.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and England sort of half get there, so it's slow, so there's no pressure on the ball, there's no pressure on the cross. We win the ball, so we do the hard thing, we win the ball back. But then what do we do with the ball when we win the ball back? You've got to find a white shirt.
And it's all happened down England's left. That combination of Demi Stokes and Tony Duggan, there's something not quite going right there.
Is it that transition from winning the ball to then where you go, the transition between defence to attack?
Yeah, it is, and you're 100 miles an hour trying to win the ball back, but then it's calm, so relax, find a pass, and that isn't what England are doing. They're still 100 miles an hour, and they're losing the ball. They
have had chances, though. They have had a couple of chances on top of the goal to extend their lead.
They haven't, and that's the thing. We're not worried about England creating opportunities because they've got players with real quality. They press high up the field here. It's great pressing here from Rachel Daly. She wins the ball back, good strength, and then straight away Nikita Paris. Nikita Paris and Georgia Stanway have linked up so well, particularly on that left-hand side. They've got a very good understanding. And here again, I'm not sure this was actually meant. I think it was, they started off the free kick, but then again, it's quick play. Georgia Stanway involved again. Millie Bright getting in there. I just wonder, could Jodie Taylor have took that first time? She took an extra touch and then the chance was gone.
She's always in the right place. She's plied her trade all around the world, Jodie Taylor, and she's one of the world's best centre-forwards.
Yeah, her movement's so intelligent.
They have had 60% possession away from home. That's a positive. They've created a few chances. Another positive. What will Phil Neville be saying in that dressing room, though? Do you think he will be focusing more on the negative, the sloppiness at the back in particular?
I think he'll just be frustrated a little bit with the standards that those girls and the team have set themselves, that they're not quite executing it appropriately. Simple as that. Giving the ball away, unforced errors. He'll be looking to really kind of narrow that down in the second half, making sure... I'm quite happy with how they play going forwards, but it's really ensuring that they close down the space. There's too much activity down Norway's right-hand side. He won't be happy with that, but to really tighten it up, not give the ball to Norway.
Why do you think it is coming down, that left-hand side, Sue? I mean, we look at the midfield and a lot of people will maybe say, is it something to do with Lucy Bronze being in there? She's very right-sided. Perhaps it's an imbalance in the midfield, or is it something completely different?
It's difficult to pick up. I think initially we're looking at, so is Tony Duggan chasing the player back? So is she following her fullback? So that's the first thing. Then as the ball goes to the wide player, are we closing them down and stopping the cross? Yes, the midfield have to shift across. And I suppose being predominantly right-footed in that middle of the field, you would have a tendency to go over to that right. So the balance needs to be better because we have to stop because they're getting down that side. And it's like they're actually saying, this is England's weakness. We're going to try and exploit it.
Well, they do lead at half-time, and after tonight, the Lionesses that play in England will focus their attention closer to home as the domestic action gets back underway.
The people them lose their minds when I drop the rhythm from height. The people them lose their minds, straight rhymes from out to the sky. Got plan big things from one, got plan big things from the one. The people them lose their, but girl we cannot deny. Get hype, go mad for it. Get hype, go mad for it. Just twist your brain to it. Just lose your brain to it. Get hype, go mad for it. Get hype, go mad for it. Just twist your brain to it. Just lose your brain to it. Get hype, go mad for it. Just twist your brain to it. Just lose your brain to it. Get hype, go mad for it. Get hype, go mad for it. Just twist your brain to it. Just lose your brain to it.
Well, that's got us in the mood, but who's going to be in the mood this season? Let's have a quick-fire quiz. I'm going to be Sue Barker for a minute. Sorry, Sue. I'll give you a question first, Rachel. You answer, then I'll ask Sue the same question. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is going to win the WSL?
Easy, Arsenal.
I'm not copying, but Arsenal.
Anybody challenging Arsenal, or are they running away with it?
I think Chelsea have improved again. They've had players, but Arsenal blew it away last season.
Man City as well.
OK, top
I'm going
scorer.
Arsenal.
Top scorer.
Because Arsenal were so good was because of Miedema. Simple as that.
Don't tell me you're going to copy.
If you follow women's football,
Yeah.
Okay.
She was superb last season, and you can't see her not scoring as many goals.
So you go first, you don't keep copying
Yeah,
me.
Yeah, OK, so we'll ask you first this time. So breakthrough player. And this can be young, somebody new to the league, somebody who we maybe haven't seen before.
I'm going to go for somebody that we've probably seen in the first half. So Guro Wrighton. So bit of a wingers attackers union. Exciting player. I think she'll do well for Chelsea this season.
Striker for Man City, Gyun Min. She's Korea Republic. Many caps for her country. Quite exciting. She's never played outside of Korea before, so I'm excited to see her at Man City.
OK, FA Cup winner, Sue.
Man City.
Man United.
Ooh. Casey will be happy. Right, complete this sentence. Rachel, come to you first. It's going to be a tough season for...
Oh, Spurs fans.
I'm going to go the same. I just think it's a big step up from the Championship. They've got a lot of new players. It's going to take a little bit of time to gel, but I hope we're wrong.
And finally, the most important question, Strictly or Bake Off?
Strictly in this.
I'm going Bake Off. Just to be different.
One aside. OK, right. Well, the WSL all gets underway on Saturday. Dan Walker will bring you football focus from the Etihad ahead of the first Manchester derby. City host United, and it's also live on BBC 5 Live. We've also got live coverage of Chelsea against another promoted team, Tottenham Hotspur. Find out how they get on the iPlayer and BBC Sport website on Sunday. And all the action from the opening weekend is on the Women's Football Show at the earlier time this season, 7 o'clock on BBC 4. Now, as England play these friendlies, Wales and Northern Ireland have been in qualifying action for Euro 2021. Wales beat the Faroe Islands 6-0 last week as Northern Ireland lost 6-0 to Norway. Tonight, they play each other. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff. It's live on BBC Two Wales, the iPlayer and the BBC Sport website. Katrin Helleth is there for us tonight. Good evening, Katrin.
Yes, good evening and welcome to Rodney Parade, where Wales are really aiming to build on that really impressive opening win against the Faroe Islands. And as you just said, the visitors this evening, well, they've had to lick their wounds after being hit for 6 by Norway in Belfast on Friday night. I've got some company with me, Wales midfielder Jess Fishlock. Jess, you know these girls so well. Goals has been an issue of late. How much confidence will they take from that goal spree on Thursday night?
Yeah, the goals I think are huge. Obviously the most important thing was coming back with 3 points. But I think after the last campaign and missing out on a playoff spot because of goal difference, those 6 goals are really just going to give them so much confidence moving forward. And tonight, hopefully we see the same.
Norway, Northern Ireland, a real tough start for them. A new manager as well. They're going to have to bounce back. How tough is it going to be this evening?
Yeah, for them it is going to be whether they try and stay and stick with what they were trying to do against Norway, even though they conceded 6, or do they change it against us to try and get a result? So it's going to be really interesting to see what type of game plan they come out with.
Wales manager Jane Ludlow, she's expecting a real battle. How do you expect Wales to tackle this one then?
The same. You know, Wales have had pretty much the same setup, the same type of style now for 1-2 campaigns. We know what we're doing, we know the game plan, and it works. So I don't expect Wales to change at all. I don't see why they need to or why they should. I just hope tonight it's effective and they get more goals.
And many of these players from Northern Ireland and from Wales, they play in the WSL, in the Championship. They know each other's game very well. Does that help things?
No, I don't think so. You know, I think they know each other well, maybe know their traits, but I think in this game, different tactics, different surroundings. I don't think that's going to play much of a part.
And Jess, I know you'd rather be out there warming up with the girls in that team talk with Jane Ludlow. You've got a nasty injury. Tell us, how's rehab going? And when can the Red Wall of Wales see you back in action?
No, my rehab's going great. You know, had a schedule already, biking. Things are looking great for me. I'll be back, you know, early next year, ready to go. But for now, I'm just here as a fan and I can't wait to watch this game.
Yeah, it should be a fascinating game. Jess, thanks very much. And Jess, back with us on BBC Two Wales at 7 o'clock for this game.
Thank you very much. Yeah, a big night for Wales. Just a quick word on Jess Fishlock. Devastating to see her pick up another really nasty injury. She'll be hoping they're right up there when she gets back into that red shirt.
Definitely, absolutely gutted for her because it's a horrible injury. But I know the type of person she is, absolute top professional. So she will work so hard to get herself as fit as she possibly can be.
She's one of their world-class players who'd be hoping to get in that Tokyo squad for Team GB,
Yeah,
so she'll be, you know, desperate to get back for that.
I'm not sure what's happening in Bergen just now.
That's not Jess, is it?
Phil Neville says he's got to be brave. Maybe that's him.
Yeah, that's lovely. Nice. Anyway, Northern Ireland, really tough start for them. Norway and now Wales.
Yeah, they lost 6-0 to Norway, and I wouldn't put it past Wales to replicate what Norway did last week. I think Emma Higgins in the Northern Ireland goal will be one of the busiest players.
Yeah, I think she probably will. Let's get back to what England are doing. They're obviously playing friendlies right up until Euro 2021. Would you rather the competitiveness, if you were a player in there, of playing these qualifiers? Or is it quite nice to know that you can experiment and you can take rest time like Jill Scott has done this time around if you need it to ensure you're right on your game?
Of course, yeah, you want competitive games, don't you? But I think the positive thing about playing friendlies is you can pick your opposition, so you can choose to play who you want to play, and you know you can pick the best team in the world if you want to play against them, if you want to test yourself against it. Whereas sometimes you play qualifiers and you end up winning 7-8-0. Don't think what you're going to get from that.
It's a great opportunity for Phil Neville and his staff to try out new players in positions, as we're seeing tonight and we saw on Thursday. Lucy Bronze, you wouldn't necessarily have this opportunity if you were playing qualifiers. If you had a qualifier against Norway, for instance, I can't imagine they'd put Lucy Bronze at centre midfield. You know, as we stand, she'd have played at right back. So it is an opportunity. It doesn't present itself very often, and he's got to take advantage of that.
And also it means he can blood new players. He can bring new players in. There are a few debutants within the squad. Is he likely, do you think, to make too many changes as this second half goes on?
Well, we saw that in the last game, didn't we? That there was a lot of changes and sometimes that spoils the game a little bit. But at the same time, you want to see those young players given an opportunity. Can they play against the top teams? Can they cope? And that's what him and his staff will want to see.
Yeah, what do you think will have been his parting words to England? They're out on the pitch just now. They're in their huddle. What will have been the parting words from Phil Neville, and what will they all be saying in that huddle right now?
I think he'll have said at half-time a little bit that, first half's gone. The positives are you 1-0 up, not being punished by Norway, but it has to be sharper this second half, and let's play how England know they can play, in possession as well as out of possession.
Well, let's get back to the action. The second half is live with Casey Stoney alongside Robin Cowan.
Thank you, Ailey. Yes, just about set for the action in this second half. England leading by 1-0, thanks to that Georgia Stanway strike, which is all over social media. I urge you to check out if you haven't seen it. Beauty from the 20-year-old. Norway get us underway. They've had a few chances in that first half. And Casey Stoney, I do wonder what Phil Neville would have said to England during that half-time break.
I think knowing Phil, he would have said stay calm in possession, make sure that your detail on your pass is accurate, so you're playing safe side, you're playing to the back foot, and you're playing out of pressure a little bit more. So, you know, I'm sure he'll be saying make sensible football decisions.
Just thinking, we saw a bit of that in the warm-up games, didn't we, to the World Cup? Is it just simply that there isn't as much pressure when there's not a result involved? Because that shouldn't be the case, should it? Although it's natural, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And I think we saw spells of it in the World Cup, and that was a competitive tournament. You know, did we see a 90-minute performance? Probably not. Closest to that was the Norway game, I would suggest. So, you know, it just carries over.
This is promising. Harris up against Minder. Daly. Kira Walsh threads it through to Stanway. Wanted another shot at goal, didn't quite come off for her this time.
And that's what Kira Walsh is capable of, you know, those balls in between, and obviously getting Georgia Stanway on the half turn, and she'll be disappointed with a left-footed finish there.
No changes for either side at the break, incidentally. We saw Beth England make her England debut against Belgium late on. There's a few others who could, Eva Mannion, first call-up. And a few of the under-20s squad from last summer. The World Cup, they won a bronze medal. Defended by Torres Dottir. It's not a great clearance by Savic. Stokes. The referee has pulled that back for a foul and a free kick to England. A little too enthusiastic. The challenge there, Karina Savic. She had a really good first half. Norland's nicked it. Here's Rayton. Bright made the block. Still with Norway. And Christine Minder, who is right-footed and will cut back inside. It's towards Graham Hansen. Again, Bright, the last-ditch challenge. Here is Jodie Taylor.
Again, it just shows, though, when Kira Walsh, you know, gets pressed, sometimes she can be susceptible to giving away the ball.
It's a loose clearance from Torres Dottir. Tony Duggan couldn't make the most of it. Harris. Now Lucy Bronze. Sixteen of this England squad went to the World Cup. It's a good idea. Offside flag is up. The assistant referee. Well, Rachel Brown-Finnis has your lot winning the FA Cup, Casey.
That would be lovely, wouldn't it? Yeah.
No pressure.
No, we did okay in the cup competitions, you know, last year, but we're very aware of, you know, you're quite dictated by the draw on that. You know, it depends on who you draw, etc. And you know, we'll have a go against all teams in the leagues and the cups this year. We're also, you know, recognising we're only 14 months into a very long-term journey.
That's the big one to kick off the Women's Super League season on Saturday at the Etihad. City versus United, the first Manchester derby of the WSL era. And you can see highlights of that on the Women's Football Show, UC4, Sunday at 7 o'clock. Should be a cracker. Marimiolda's Chelsea also begin with a derby of sorts against Spurs at Stamford Bridge.
Again, both teams sloppy in possession, giving the ball away. No one putting their foot on it and dictating the play and controlling it at the moment.
It's Graham Hansen slaloming her way through the England midfield. It's a bit too much on that for Ingrid Movold.
Second half definitely hasn't started with the same intensity. Seems a little bit flat. England forcing long balls when they don't need to. Norway giving up possession too easily.
You talk about that creative spark as well, Casey, and I think the loss of Jordan Nobbs was quite a big one, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we know what Jordan brings. You know, her energy levels, her runs beyond the ball, the way she breaks back lines and gets on and drives with the ball, can shoot from distance, and you know, she can do that for 7 games because she's one of the fittest players in the league.
Duggan gives it away now to Graham Hansen, who's well marshalled. Still manages to get the cross in, played by Horton. Savic. Graham Hansen. Duggan gets back and does the defensive duty well. Kira Walsh has lost it. Graham Hansen. Still going. Wright's making the challenge this time. It's Savic. Oh, and a good save. Really good save by Carly Telford to keep Norway out.
Again, that chance comes from a cross, you know, and I actually don't think it was the best delivery. Great freak by Hansen. But obviously, look at the bodies in the box, but who are we actually picking up? She's free. You know, it's a great save by Carly to tip it around the post.
It was Amelie Akelan with the effort. On target. Here comes the corner. Oh, and it's in! England concede from another set piece. And it's Frida Monum, who has nodded in her first goal for Norway. 1-1.
At what point do we address the fact that we keep conceding from set pieces? You know, obviously, you know, the players, you know, I know from experience the players will put themselves in certain positions based on their criteria, that they want to be a first contactor or a blocker. The problem is when you've got that many people in a zone, who's doing what? Who's actually picking up, and who's got the desire to go and win that first contact? You know, that's obviously it's a great header, but we have to do better there.
Norway had just started to assert a bit more control over the game after the restart. Can England strike back straight away? Harris's ball towards Stanway is cut out. Walsh finds Nikita Paris. 2 to aim for. Oh, Lucy Bronze. Don't think she connected with that quite as she'd like.
I think she's tried to glance it, and she just needs to get a clean contact on that. You know, she's made a great run in between. You know, it's a really good delivery. She doesn't need to glance it, just get good contact, head it down into the floor, you know, and work the goalkeeper.
It's a really good late run, as you'd like your midfielders to do, and she does tend to score against Norway. Very close. And Paris is adamant the ball went out. England do have it back now. You said in the first half, Casey, it's not a problem that's just emerged, is it?
No, it's been ongoing, I'd say, for the last year. And if something isn't working, you've got to change it. The disappointing thing for me there is, are we competing to win the first contact? Have we got more desire to jump, out-compete, You know, get yourself there first before the opposition. And actually, do you know what? You've got to be prepared to get hurt in them situations and take one for the team. And, you know, we don't do that. And therefore, we end up conceding.
Well, she's leaving the field with her first senior goal to her name, Frida Mornum. Being replaced by Ingrid Engen, very talented midfielder. Plays for Wolfsburg. Played every minute of the World Cup. And just 21 years old, but her manager Martin Sjögren has said that she plays like she's been playing professionally for 10 years or more, Ingrid Engen, number 14. She does have a slight hand injury, as you'll see. She's got a bit of strapping on her right arm. Stanway. Good strength. Daly. Now Paris. Looks like England have just woken up. That's not a great delivery.
Getting into good areas, but you've got to have quality on your end product, especially if you're committing numbers into the box. Give them a chance to attack something. If you can't, play round the box and create a different opportunity.
Concerned looking Phil Neville there. He knows he's going to have to field these questions once again about his side's defence. Mulvold sends it forward to Savic. Bright gets there first. Duggan. Engen gets there first ahead of Lucy Bronze, who makes up for it. It's going to be a throw to Norway. Good ball towards Minder. And Paris has played her way into trouble. Akelan. Borisa. Akelan once again. Now here's Caroline Graham-Hansen. Straight at Carly Telford, but she had the time there to look up and place the ball.
Yeah, she did. I think England are getting deeper and deeper and deeper. They've got to get someone out to the ball, go and press the ball, and I think get someone higher up and start affecting the centre-backs a little bit more.
Here is Nikita Paris. Walsh, and now Demi Stokes. It was the left-hand side that Rachel Brown-Finnis and Sue Smith picked out in that half-time analysis that was looking particularly vulnerable for England. Duggan. Lucy Bronze. Tried to find Jodie Taylor.
What I'd like to see is when Paris is in a wide area, she needs to go 1v1 sometimes, take the full-back on, go on the outside. The key to Paris's strength is her speed. You know, when she was at Manchester City, it was a key thing. She'd face the full-back up, go 1v1 and create problems.
There she is, Paris. They're trying to slip it through to Jodie Taylor. It's a good block by Paris. Taylor. Daly, now bronze. England trying to pick their way through that Norwegian defence. Here's the dangerous Karina Savik of Paris Saint-Germain. Tony Duggan pulled up for the foul.
You have to wonder how long now until Phil leaves it, until he makes a change to influence the game. They'll want to get a win today, and how long he'll leave it, to make a change in terms of attacking to get us going forward again.
Stanway, score of England's goal after just 10 minutes. That seems like a long time ago now. Daly. To Nikita Paris. WSL's record goal scorer. Daly. Away by Mo Vold.
England have got opportunities, especially on the right. Minder does not want to come out as a fullback and engage with a wide player. There's a reason, because you can beat her for pace. So get the ball, face her up, have a go 1v1, and then you've got one less player to beat once you've gone past her.
See what England can do from this corner kick. It is Tony Duggan who will deliver. Cleared at the near post. Millie Bright had made the run. Stanway. Challenged by Bright. It will be interesting to see if Phil Neville does make any changes. Plenty of options on the bench. Graham Hansen.
She's got fantastic feet, isn't she? Manipulates the ball so well. That's why sometimes she's better off in a midfield area where she can get on it and create.
She's usually played wide for Wolfsburg and cutting in. Here is Rayton. They want a corner kick, but the referee has indicated that she's happy that Carly Telford kept that in. Just a touch slow in the build-up at the moment, England.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit frustrated because we get the ball, and especially Nikita Paris, and she doesn't seem to want to drive with it. She's always looking for the option to pass in field and utilise your pace, utilise the strength that you've got, drive the team forward by using the ball.
Should be pointed out, England are missing a number of players to injury, or the likes of Jill Scott, who's just being rested. Got Frank Kirby, who's had to withdraw, Alex Greenwood, of course, and Ellen White with such a great World Cup. So a lot of options Phil Neville is missing. the 20-year-old Georgia Stanway who's urging the team to come up, and we're still only seeing her and Jodie Taylor in the frame at the moment.
I think it's definitely time for a change, if not a double sub, to be honest with you. Try and influence the game a little bit, get a bit more energy on the pitch, whether it's a Beth Mead coming off the left, someone else, you know, in terms of going down the middle or in midfield. But, you know, I'd be looking to change it now to get us back in the game and impose ourselves.
That's a lovely ball. Really good goalkeeping from Carly Telford. Not the greatest of clearances, but she anticipated brilliantly there, Telford.
And that's what Carly does because of her start position. She's very aggressive with her start position, starts high and supports that back line, knowing that if we're going to stay high, you control that space behind the back four, and she does that very well.
England, if she hadn't come out there, that would have been a free hit. We saw Mary Earps coming on as a sub against Belgium. I wonder if the goalkeeper might be substituted. That was a good pass towards Jodie Taylor. A bit too much on it. And Taylor, yep, shows her appreciation for the effort. Duggan. Stanway behind Demi Stokes.
I think the goal has really taken the wind out of England. They've just gone really flat, you know, dejected, no energy. You're looking at people now to say, come on, okay, who's going to step up, get hold of this game and bring a bit more intensity to this performance?
Space here for Caroline Graham-Hansen. Cuts it back. Good defending from Lucy Bronze. And away by Walsh. Throws it back to Kira Walsh. Duggan, oh, that's a heavy touch. Stanway. Duggan delivers. Oh, it's a good pull. Taylor just wide.
It's a good opportunity that obviously Tony cuts in from the left on a favoured right foot. Look at Jodie Taylor's movement. Pull away and then go in between. You know, and that is where you maybe need the glancing header to make sure you get it on target.
Excellent delivery from Tony Duggan. Taylor. Pulled up for the foul on Torres Dottir after winning it back. Another substitution for Norway. Looks like Lisa Marie Utland is coming on. Amelie Ekeland is coming off. We'll see much more of her for Reading in the Women's Super League this season, I'm sure. The more experienced Utland is coming on now. '48th appearance. Scored against Nigeria at the World Cup for Norway. And plays for the current league leaders Rosengard in Sweden. And it was Utland and Herlufsen who were the preferred two up top during the World Cup.
And I think Norway are missing Herlufsen. You know, a direct player, runs in behind, the strength, the physicality. She's a fantastic player.
Here is Utland. Movold. Delivers the cross away by Horton. Minder tries to back into the box. Here is Savic. Graham Hansen. Again, too close to Carly Telford.
Again, the scoreline might say 1-1, but I'd love to see the shots on goal, because I would say suggest that Norway have had far more than England, especially in this second half.
Graham Hansen couldn't quite get past a couple of England defenders. You're absolutely right, Casey. All sitting so deep. Look where Jodie Taylor, even the striker, is deep inside her own half.
There is no need for Jodie to be that deep. Norway are playing a 4-4-2 and sometimes pushing up a little bit higher in the fullback areas. Jodie can go and sit between the centre-backs, be an outlet when England win it, and make play predictable in terms of keeping them one way. We should outnumber them by 1 in midfield anyway. You know, she shouldn't need to drop around the deepest midfielder.
Another set piece we've already seen tonight. That is England's Achilles heel, but it looks like a couple of players getting ready to come on. Beth England, Leah Williamson, stripped and ready to go. Not before Norway take this free kick. It's a teasing one. That's a good header away by Steph Horton.
It's a really important touch, that, because if you notice there's an overload at the back post. You know, they were over by 1 Norway. If that goes on a little bit further, you know, they've got a 3-player. Rachel Daly hasn't reacted quick enough there. It's almost 3 versus 1, and Steph gets a great touch on it.
Corner kick towards Torres Dottir. Bronze gets her head to it first this time. Savic. A great body swerve by Mjelde into Engen. Mjelde gets there first. And Savic can't keep it in.
Better desire to win the first contact from the corner. Lucy Bronze going and meeting it, therefore not causing England any problems.
Just been told that Norway have had 3 shots on target in this half, as opposed to England's 0.
It's not a surprise.
That's loose from Duggan. Here's Graham Hansen. Actually, Millie Bright's done well against Graham Hansen. Deflection. They'll take it out for a corner kick, though.
I think Duggan's looking a little bit tired, a little bit loose on the ball, giving the ball away a little bit more, especially in the last 10 minutes. I wonder if that's a little bit of fatigue. I don't know how much of a pre-season she's had, obviously joining Atletico later on, so it might be an idea just to protect her now, get her off and get fresh legs on in that area.
Substitutions still haven't been made. Brayton's corner into the near post. Engen got a head to it, couldn't direct it on target. Here's Torres Dottir. Graham Hansen. Barisa crowded out. That's good pressing by England. Now Duggan. Nikita Paris. That's a better cross, away by Mjelde though. Walsh. Into Stanway. The 2 Manchester City midfielders combining.
I think in terms of creating chances for England, we need to look at the profile of our striker. You know, we're getting the ball wide and we're crossing it. Is Jodie Taylor someone that's going to score, you know, lots of headed goals from crosses? If it's Ellen White, it's a different picture. It might be that we look at going 1v1 in wide areas, and we look at cutbacks, we look at through balls, you know, because that's a Jodie Taylor goal, is getting on the end of a through ball.
It's a good pass. Paris does really well to keep that in. England in trouble here. Here is Utland. Horton does well to get back. I think Utland just didn't have too many options there. Tried to find Graham Hansen, away by Bright. Here's Duggan. Only Taylor up ahead. Bronze. Stanway.
Typical when you're a sub, the ball doesn't go out of play. These two have been waiting forever to come on.
Haven't they? Paris. Good run by Taylor, and a good turn as well. Paris. It's a good ball by Paris. Corner kick to England. Good block by Torres Dottier to deny Jodie Taylor.
A better type of cross in terms of putting it in behind that back four, giving someone something to run onto, and obviously a low cross gives them a different problem.
Taylor is off. Beth England on for her second cap. Chelsea's top scorer last season, 21 goals in all competitions. Certainly earned her senior call-up.
Had a fantastic season, Beth England, for Chelsea last season. Key to a lot of their successes in terms of the attacking areas. Great intensity in her play. Will run the shoulder, will work for the team, will press. I think very worthy of her England call-up.
Rachel Daly off for Leah Williamson. I'll leave that to you to see if that means a bit of a tactical switch from England. And the goalkeeper's been substituted. Ellie Roebuck on for her third cap. Corner comes in towards Bright, and Lucy Bronze, under pressure, puts it over the bar.
Have to see if it's like for like, whether Leah's gone on to play right back. It seems she has, yep.
A very versatile player, isn't she, Leah Williamson, but mainly played at centre-half for Arsenal last season, but I think in the past, especially for England age group, she's played as a defensive midfielder.
She has, and when I was at Arsenal, she played as a midfielder also then.
Here is Duggan. Bouncing around, doesn't find a white shirt. Stanway. Why not?
Sight a goal, shoot. So no, that is her mentality. Yeah, Leah Williamson's a ball player. So when you're a ball player, you can play in a lot of different positions. Obviously, when I've got to be honest, when I was at Arsenal, I spoke to her very early and said that I believed if she was going to make it to the heights, I thought she was a centre back. A ball playing centre back, and obviously she had a very good season there for Arsenal last season.
She certainly shows composure in her play. It's exactly what England need at the moment. Ingrid Movold coming forward. Savic. Nicely done by Lucy Bronze. Paris has lost it. Savic. Torres Dottier, a lazy attempt at a pass there. Duggan trying to play in Beth England. We all know about Mjolder's defensive capabilities. reads the game beautifully.
What a fantastic defender she is. You know, she's not the quickest, she's not slow, but she's not the quickest, but reads the game so well, sniffs out danger, you know, and covers the ground, and gets, for me, gets Thorisdottir out of a lot of trouble.
There's 12 of this Norwegian squad now play professionally abroad, which is the most, I think, for a very long time. And I think it just shows that the Scandinavian sides, like Sweden, who did so well at the World Cup, they do adapt well. We've seen in the WSL, particularly with Chelsea, the likes of Magdalena Eriksson, Mjelde. They do fit in very nicely into the pro game.
They've got a great mentality to work, you know, great work ethic. They want to learn, they want to improve, and, you know, as a head coach, that's what you want. You want to work with players like that.
Ten minutes left to play. Still time for a winner from either side. Hard to tell who it's going to come from at the moment.
So on the right, Beth, yeah? On the right.
Duggan. Graham Hansen away from the challenge of Kira Walsh. She's got Savic on this right-hand side. Here is Karina Savic.
Lucy Bronze did really well then, just to derail her and send her out into a wide area, because it was a positive attack for Norway.
Thorisdottir. Mjelde. Brayton. I think the call did come eventually for Millie Bright to leave that. Another alteration for England. Beth Mead on for Nikita Paris. Scored against Belgium. Beth Mead, can she repeat the trick here? Williamson. On to Beth Mead, the two Arsenal teammates combining. Mead's delivery. Now with her we can say that probably a shot, because she invented the cross shot, didn't she?
Yeah, I'm never convinced whether they're shots or crosses, to be honest, but listen, she's done well to create half a yard and cut inside. Now if she's going to cut inside, she's got to shape that. You know, it's got to bend in the far post, or she's got to pick someone out from across. Second half has very much felt like a non-competitive fixture. No one's, you know, really putting much intensity in terms of going and winning the game. Norway not getting that many numbers forward now either.
Well, this isn't a dig at the England players at all, but Jade Moore highlighted the fact that the fixture list for the WSL really hasn't helped, has it? Because it starts, well, for you in particular, which on Tuesday now, first game's on Saturday. It's not really ideal preparation, is it?
No, absolutely not. And as a head coach, you're praying your players get through it. You're hoping they don't use too much energy, because you need them to come back in and prepare. But you also know they're having a great experience of international football, so it's a balance.
And what a moment this is, an emotional one, you can see, for Ingrid Hjelmset. Makes way. It is her final international appearance for Norway. What a servant she has been, 138 and out for Ingrid Hjelmset. She made her debut in 2003. She's been #1 since 2009, been to numerous tournaments and has performed admirably. She gets a hug from every single member of her teammates. And all 4 sides of the Brand Stadium in Bergen is on their feet.
And I have to say, this is an incredible mark of respect for players that they deserve. You know, when you're coming towards the back end of your career and you decide to step away and you've given that much of your life to your international team, and let's be honest, she would have done a lot of this without getting paid, without a contract. She deserves this moment. She deserves to be brought back in for this friendly so the fans can say thank you, the country can say thank you, and she can have that moment that she fully deserves. So absolute respect to Norway. That is the way to do it.
And that's very much the future of Norway in terms of the goalkeeping. Cecilie Fiskerstrand will most likely take the mantle as the new Norwegian #1. 23 years old, as opposed to Ingrid Hjelmset, who's 39. She will still keep playing for her club, but that was absolutely right. What a wonderful moment.
I'm not sure I could face another pre-season at 39. Look at all the space on the far side. If England keeps switching the ball a bit quicker, they can open up the gaps, and can get 1v1s, and they can get the ball into the box.
Mead does so. It's well held by the substitute goalkeeper, Fiskerstrand.
End product today has been, I think, really poor from wide areas, not giving England enough opportunities to create goal-scoring chances.
4 minutes plus stoppages remain. Good challenge, Lucy Bronze. Here comes Beth England. Chance here for Mead. Lucy Bronze, oh, England got in the way. And then Stanway. That was the chance for England. Put in by Williamson. Mead delivers. Minder will get that one away. Only as far as Williamson. Walsh.
If England are going to get a goal, they need a better final ball, whether it be a cross, through ball. It's been really poor.
And they've given this one away. Here's Caroline Graham-Hansen running at the defence. Still going. Caroline Graham-Hansen has surely won it for Norway. You can't give gifts like that to a player of that quality. And unfortunately, that has summed up England during these friendlies. Mistakes have cost them, and it looks like they're heading for defeat here against Norway, who will get their revenge after that World Cup quarter-final defeat in France. 2-1.
I have to question, does Houghton need to go to ground there? She's doing enough to get Hansen away from the goal and allow a wide-angle shot, which is where your keeper should come alive. You go to ground, you're out the game. Now the goalkeeper's facing a shot from 4 yards.
It all started after Millie Bright gave the ball straight to her, and from then on England just couldn't recover.
And Norway weren't creating anything. They weren't creating anything. You give a player of that quality the ball, and you create a 1v1, she's going to hurt you. It's not like there weren't warnings in the first half in terms of turnovers. Same again, warnings in the second half in terms of turnovers. This is international football. You keep giving the ball away in key areas, you're going to get punished.
Could it get worse? Savic. Kobold. Here is Lisa Marie Utland. Corner kick. 4 minutes of added time.
Be interesting to see if Norway actually deliver this, or whether they keep it in the corner and they're desperate for the win.
I think that look tells it all. So they are opting to keep it in the corner, run down the clock. England have possession in the form of a throw-in. They may just have time to create one more opportunity if they can get the ball up the field. Brayton takes out a couple of England players, still going. Walsh. Oh, space on that far side. Bronze has Mead. Bronze still going. Here is Beth Mead. Perhaps one more opportunity for England. Here's Beth England. Duggan. England. Stokes. Very crowded penalty area. Duggan on the turn. Charge down. Mead, Bronze.
At least Lucy Bronze is trying to make something happen. You know, she's trying to attack. She's still got intensities. It's a 92nd minute. You know, she's driving the team forward. Yes, she's not hit the target there, but she's a winner. Look how frustrated she is. You know, and we need more of the players on the pitch to be able to grab hold of the game and do that.
As we approach the final minute of stoppage time, Casey, just your thoughts overall on these last two England games?
Obviously, you know, I think Phil and his staff will go away and look at this and analyse it and know that there's a lot to work on. You know, defensive frailties again I've seen today, and also turning over possession in areas that you can't afford to do that in international football. And I have to say, in terms of the final third play today, it's not been good enough in terms of quality of the final ball, execution in and around the box, and also in the build the execution's been poor, and that's why they've been punished. So I think they'll go away and they'll look at it and know that it's been two very good but different tests, but there's a lot to work on.
Final few seconds of another frustrating evening for England. There'll be no win in 4 if they can, after that defeat to the USA and then the third place playoff loss, and then having to settle for a draw against Belgium, perhaps they can force the draw once again from this corner kick. Here it comes. England was there against well defended. Full time then. It's a defeat for England. Once again, they took the lead for the second game in a row, but it was Caroline Graham-Hansen, who's condemned them to a defeat. It was one they couldn't recover from this time. A loss to Phil Neville. And so Norway come away with the victory in this friendly in Bergen. Full time, it's Norway 2, England 1.
Casey and Robin, thank you very much. Sue and Rachel, a really disappointing night for England.
Yeah, it was. It was a lacklustre performance, wasn't it? Moments of good play, but sometimes just slow in the build-up. I thought they were lacking intensity. They give the ball away far too many times, and they'll be really disappointed with that result.
Yeah, and they will be disappointed again with the goals they conceded.
Yeah, it's the manner of the results. Absolutely. Conceding from set pieces, giving possession away. I mean, so many errors.
Yeah, let's take a look at the two goals. Again, a set piece, like you say.
Yeah, I mean, it came from a good save originally that went out for a corner. But this is simple. Rach Daly doesn't have enough desperation to want to win that ball. That near post defender there has to win those types of balls. The keeper can't come for it. And this second goal for Norway, the killer one that seals the points for them, ball given away by Millie Bright. Steph Houghton comes unnecessarily, slides to ground, and the goalkeeper has no chance from there.
Yeah, I think Casey Stoney mentioned the word desire in her commentary. You know, defensively there, but also in attack. Did you see enough desire?
Well, I thought the intensity was lacking. That was something that they didn't have. I thought they created half opportunities. They were getting themselves into certain positions, good positions. You know, here that's a great position, but again, just not clinical enough in front of goal. And this was the positive play. So when they moved the ball quickly, when they got numbers in and around the box, you know, there were times where I thought the wide players could drive at the defence. Tony Duggan here, fantastic delivery into the box. Just gets a touch out of the feet, whips it in. But again, you've got to score, you've got to test the goalkeeper. And that was something that I don't think England did. Get themselves into good positions, have to test the goalkeeper.
Yeah, no shots on target in that second half for England. And their next opponents, though, have just been announced, so we know we will be seeing them back again. At the 5th of October against Brazil at the Riverside in Middlesbrough. It will be live on the BBC. Another test, another different test.
Completely different test. It'd be interesting to see how Phil Neville sets up his team. Will he revert back to Lucy Bronze at overlapping right? Because I feel tonight there was a bit of lack of clarity in how we wanted to play. You know, what was the role of those two midfielders in front of the back four? You know, what were our patterns of play? You know, we're so used to seeing that. That was our identity. We were overlapping fullbacks in the World Cup, and I don't think we had a real kind of DNA tonight.
Yeah, you can see Phil Neville having a word with his players. He likes to do it out in the open on the pitch. What will he be saying, do you think?
Well, he will hate... He's a perfectionist. He's a winner, as we've seen. He will hate the fact that they've been beaten. And I think he's got to say to them, yes, there were moments that you did well, but there were also moments that you were very sloppy. You give the ball away far too easily. At times, when Norway weren't even pressing the player, we were just giving it away. And that's something you have to, as a player yourself individually, you've got to make sure that you do the simple things well, and at times I don't think England did that.
When you lose a game because the team's played exceptionally well against you, you can almost accept it. Yeah. But when you gift a game to a team, it's really hard to take.
How do you feel off the back of that, with another game to come shortly?
Just a real determination to execute everything with perfection next time, and that starts with the first touch on the training pitch.
Well, thank you very much for joining me. It was defeat for England, but you can turn over right now because Wales are playing Northern Ireland in Euro 2021 qualifying. That's live on BBC Two Wales and on the iPlayer. And don't forget, the Women's Football Show is back on Sunday with all the highlights from the first weekend of the WSL season. From all of us, bye for now.